I'm Elizabeth at A Literary Princess. If you are new here, welcome. I have a PhD in English literature with a focus on Victorian women novelists, and as you might expect, I love to read. Today I have a tag video for you. This is the childhood book tag, which was originally created by Fantastic Magical, and I was tagged by Kelly from Books I'm Not Reading. So we've got 11 questions. Let's jump in. Question number 1, were you a big reader as a child? Yes, very much so. I grew up in a house where books were always available, where my parents were always reading to me, where I was always getting books as gifts. So yeah, it's been my main hobby since before I could technically read on my own, I suppose. If I can find one, I'll put a picture here of me reading as a child. I don't know if we have any though. I can think of one, but I don't know if it's digital or not. Probably not, because it's from the 90s. Because I'm old. And this leads well into question number 2. Did your parents read to you? If so, what? Yes, they did. Mostly my mom. And what? Everything. So I'm working on a limited amount of my children's lit collection because most of it is still at my parents' house. So I'm mostly holding up the ones that I just have. So 2 that I very specifically remember my mom reading to me are An Ellis Island Christmas by Maxine Rael Layden and illustrated by Dennis Nolan. It's historical fiction about a young girl immigrating over to New York during Christmas time. And I remember reading this with my mom, and there's a pretty nice mother-daughter relationship in here too. So yeah, I remember that very vividly. And then she also read me longer books, one of which was Peter Pan by J.M. Barrie. I remember very vividly reading this together too, because it was during the summer at our lake house. And sometimes if it was a nice night, we would go out and sleep on our boat because it had like a little cabin underneath. So my mom was reading this to me one night while we were sleeping on the boat. So I do remember that very well. But I mean, they read so much to me. I know that my mom read The Hobbit to me. My mom read a lot of the Harry Potter books to me. I think we actually the last one we read together was the 5th one. And like, she didn't need to read that to me. I was perfectly capable of reading that on my own, but we both wanted to read it at the same time. So we were just like, we'll read it together. And my grandparents also read to me a lot. I remember my great-grandmother reading, I'll put this down. I remember my great-grandmother reading Little House in the Big Woods to me. It's by Laura Ingalls Wilder. And I know that my grandmother read Oliver Twist to me, which I did not like, but she did that. I'm sure she read plenty of other things to me too, but I remember that one very vividly. Question number 3, your first bookish memory. So this is kind of hard because I don't know, like I have memories as a kid, but I don't know the order they go in. Like, I'm not sure if that night reading Peter Pan on the boat happened before or after my great-grandmother reading Little House in the Big Woods to me. But one of my first bookish memories that I do have is reading my first book ever on my own in 1st grade. And I was in the classroom. I think we were having recess inside for some reason. And another girl in my class had been reading the book, and she brought it over to me and she said, I think you'll like this, because I really liked ponies. And it was a book titled Ponies, all about ponies. I have no idea who wrote this book. I have not been able to find it ever again because it's just called Ponies, if I remember correctly, and that is not exactly helpful. But yeah, I do remember reading this and liking it. Question number 4, be honest. Did you read books assigned to you in school? Yes, I did, actually. I can only think of one book that I've been assigned in school that I did not finish, and that was in my master's degree. I don't have a lot of the books that I read in school. Oh wait, I have one. To Kill a Mockingbird. I was assigned this in 8th grade, so I was 13. So going from being a child to being a teenager, but this is literally one of the only ones I still have. Because usually the schools would give you the books and then take them back at the end of the year. But my aunt had bought me a copy of this, and I loved it. And we didn't even technically have to read it. We were watching the movie and like going based on the movie, but I read the book anyway because I really liked it. So yes, I did read the books that I was assigned. I mostly don't remember being assigned books in elementary school. But middle school, I pretty much remember all of them. And this is one of the very few that I still have. Question number 5, where did you get your books as a child? So honestly, most of the books that I have from my childhood, I remember being given or I got them as hand-me-downs. So for gifts, I had everybody gave me books. Books and dolls were the big thing. But so I've got this copy of The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe by C.S. Lewis that my aunt gave me, a very pretty illustrated edition. I think I was on the older side when she gave me this, like in middle school. From my very early childhood, I have The Secret Garden by Frances Hodgson Burnett, which was given to me by my brother and my sister-in-law when I was 6-ish. Again, it's hard to remember. My niece, their daughter, actually had a matching copy of A Little Princess that had like a very light pink cover that I loved. And I love this. This is one of my favorite editions of a book that I own because it's like velvet. You probably can't see, but it's like fake velvet. It's great. But yeah, this was given to me when I was quite young. But I also had a lot of hand-me-down books from my brothers, but also from my mom. Like a surprising amount of hand-me-down books from my mom. One of which was the Tasha Tudor book of fairy tales. And there is actually, if I can find it, maybe. I thought this was the one that's inscribed. Oh yes, there it is. There's an inscription from my grandparents to her. They gave it to her for her 6th birthday. So, to Tamara, with love on your 6th birthday, Mommy and Daddy, which is like super cute, and I'm so glad that I have this. I love this book. It's got beautiful illustrations. Let me find a good one. I mean, they're all good, but like, let me find a favorite one. Cinderella is always good. So yeah, I had a lot of hand-me-down books like this from my mom especially. My copy of The Hobbit went through my mother, my uncle, and both of my brothers before it came to me. That one permanently lives at my parents' house on their bookshelf because it is in very bad condition and looks like it's gonna fall apart at any moment. Yeah. A lot of hand-me-down books. I remember there's this one that I had. I don't remember the title, but it was something to do with a blue cow. But it was originally my brother's, and it had an inscription to him, like, to Richard. And as a kid, I don't remember doing this. I've just seen the results. I crossed out the inscription and wrote, "Not Richard's, Beth's," because that's what my family calls me. So apparently I had some feelings about getting hand-me-down books, but it's a funny story anyway. I still have that book, I just don't have it here to remember the title. Question number 6, did you watch any television meant to inspire reading? Yes, I loved Wishbone. Oh. Wishbone introduced me to so many classics for the first time. Romeo and Juliet, A Tale of Two Cities, God, so many others. The Phantom of the Opera, I very vividly remember watching that episode. Like, you can say that Wishbone really pushed me toward my English literature degree. And I mean, it was, it's a cute dog reading books. I'm a dog person. Well, I'm a cat person too, but as a child, I grew up with dogs. So I loved dogs. So it combined my two favorite things. So yeah, big on Wishbone. I did also watch Reading Rainbow, but I don't have as many vivid memories of that as I do of Wishbone. Like Wishbone, I very specifically remember watching the Phantom of the Opera episode and the Tale of Two Cities episode. And several other episodes, although sometimes I just remember the stuff that Wishbone was doing and I don't remember what the book was. I want to get those on DVD. Wonder where they're available. Oh, such a good show. Bring back Wishbone. Question number 7. What sort of genres or storylines did you like? So, I like fairy tales. Which I still love fairy tales. And I also read a lot of fairy tale retellings. This is Ella Enchanted by Gail Carson Levine, one of my absolute favorite fairy tale retellings. I read this in elementary school. I don't remember how old, but yeah, I loved anything with fairy tales. I loved anything with princesses, like, yeah, princesses, fairy tales, castles, balls, all of those were like very high on my list type of thing. Question number 8, favorite children's or picture book. This is like asking me to pick a favorite child. So I've got 2 here that I really love. There's several others that I love that are not here. They're at my parents' house. There's some that I love that I don't even own because I'd gotten them out of the library. I forgot to mention that. And where did you get your books as a child? The library, especially the school library. Anyway, so one of my absolute favorites was this fairy tale collection, the Classic Grimm's Fairy Tales. Ooh, I have an image from, oop, there's papers. Okay. Retold by Louise Betts Egan and illustrated by a whole lot of other people. Yeah, each one has different illustrations. But I really loved this one. I liked the illustrations a lot. Here's their version of Cinderella, super pretty. But my favorite was Snow White, actually, which is not the same Snow White as the cover. It's a completely different Snow White. But this, I really loved her blue dress. So yeah, this was a big favorite of mine. And then another big favorite was Sea Tale by Gail E. Haley. So this is Mermaids, another one I loved. Mermaids, awesome. Yeah, it's about a sailor who falls in love with a mermaid. I'm trying to get a good picture. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I loved this one. And we got rid of my childhood copy. We got rid of so many of my childhood books, and now I regret that. Like, we still have a lot of them, but there are others that we donated or gave away to other people, and I regret that so much. Like, if I could go back in time, I'd be like, no. But yeah, so I ended up buying my own copy of this as an adult. Question 9, favorite chapter or big kids book. Again, you're asking me to pick a favorite child. So one that's a chapter book, but that's on the kind of younger end, I would say, is The Ordinary Princess by MMK. Again, this is one that I got as an adult because the copy I read from was a library copy. I would read it over and over again. I got it out of the library at my grandparents' house. So I would go and visit them. I'd be like, can we go to the library to get The Ordinary Princess? Princesses, big favorite storyline. But it is a chapter book. So I would count that. and I still love it. It's a great book. For classic ones, it would have to be A Little Princess by Frances Hodgson Burnett. Again, another one that like looks more like, because it's illustrated, but it's definitely a chapter book. Yeah, this has been a favorite for a really long time. But if you like really twisted my arm and made me pick one for this, I think I would have to go with The Marchild by Eloise McGraw. I read this in elementary school. I don't even know how old, but I was obsessed with it. I got it out of the school library at first, and I would just like keep getting it out of the library like over and over and over again. And then finally for my birthday, one of my friends from my class got me my own copy because she knew how much I loved it, which was really sweet. She's like, now you can stop taking out the library copy. Like, yes. But yeah, I read this quite a lot, as you can tell. I need to give it a reread. I have not reread it since I was a child, so I'm like, I hope it holds up. Like, I'm a little afraid, but also I feel like it should still be good because I remember it being amazing. Question number 10, favorite children's series. Again, you are asking me to pick a favorite child. I mean, if you twist my arm and make me pick one, it's The Unicorns of Balinor by Mary Stanton, which I have at my parents' house and not here. I loved these books as a kid. Again, horses and princesses. Or unicorns, rather, and princesses. I was big on horses. Yeah, I loved this series. Again, another one that I kind of want to reread, but kind of don't because I'm afraid it'll ruin it. But I also really loved the American Girl series. I had tons of those, and they are some of the ones that we got rid of, and I kick myself constantly for it. One day I will buy a bunch of them, but today is not that day. But yeah, I loved these books too. I read them constantly. Question 11 is to tag others, which I'm not actually going to do, but if you want to do this tag, you are welcome to consider yourself tagged by me. And I would also love to hear your answers to some of these questions in the comments below. And if you read any of the books that I mentioned and remember reading them as a kid, or did you read them as an adult? If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to see more of my bookish content. It has been great chatting with you. I will see you soon. Bye.